And we're back with Tech Talk Radio. Thank you so much for hanging in there as we broadcast today all about some of the big news that we've had this week. We've had some technical issues, and we've been able to kind of wring those down and take care of them.
We fed the monkey.
We fed the hamster and the monkey. Oh, boy. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the news this week. And I can't say that we didn't see this coming, and we knew at some point it was going to have to happen. And we're talking about the changes made at Apple this week quite suddenly and quite to the surprise of not only Apple employees but also shareholders. That actually took Apple stocks actually took a little hit this week, even with the news of the upcoming iPhone 5 and the iPad, and another announcement this week from Sprint. Well, I take it back. Not an announcement from Sprint, an announcement from the Wall Street Journal regarding them carrying the iPhone 5. So even with all of that, we saw their stocks take a hit after the announcement of the departure of Steve Jobs. Were you surprised by this?
Yes and no. I think everybody was kind of yes and no, because he seemed to be soldiering on, if you will, for quite some time. I mean, everybody knew he was sick. He knew he was sick, but it wasn't, nobody was keeping it a secret. Everybody knew. He seemed to be, in spirit, Steve Jobs, but you could tell, he was a little, I guess, gaunt is the word. He was getting a little thinner, that kind of thing. He wasn't showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a tip off. So, here's what this tells me, and this is where I get concerned. And maybe I don't know the man personally, but we kind of do. As long as we all have known him. If he's resigning as CEO, how bad off is he? I mean, what else is he not telling us? I mean, he's not. We all know he's not telling us something. What is it he's really not telling us? That's what concerns me.
Yeah, and I think we're all concerned for his health. We are. Yeah. I don't know about the people who out there who have said, well, this is going to affect the company. You looked at major companies that have changed CEOs, everything from Disney, to other motion picture enterprises like Paramount. I mean, they've all changed. Some have taken a hit. Some have not. Some continue. Microsoft, of course, saw the change when Bill Gates left Microsoft and kind of put it in the hands of Steve Ballmer. He did kind of a smooth transition where he kind of went to part-time, and then he just completely said goodbye to the operation, other than being, on the board. I think, I don't know if it's going to affect Apple that much. I think Apple seems to be on a pretty steady course. They seem to have their own, if you will, Moore's Law when it comes to new products and new features, not only for the operating system, but it seems like the big driver right now is the iPhone and the iPad anyways. It doesn't.
What about their soul, though? What about the soul of Apple?
The soul of the company. When somebody gets up there and sells it, well, Steve Jobs is a very lovable guy. I mean, to a lot of the people, when he got out there and he did the announcements of a new product, it was pretty charismatic. So
yeah, but not even that though. I mean, more like, okay, I just can't believe. Maybe I'm naive, but I just can't believe Steve Jobs would get up, present a product he didn't believe in and didn't like. Period.
Right.
So I could see some other monkey in a suit getting up there and going, "This is our latest thing. It's blue."
He could sell it.
Well, but Steve would look at it and go, "So it's blue, and what else does it do?"
Did you ever see the video? It's kind of a YouTube video that some guy said. He gets out and he sells the eyeball, which is a big, huge, giant ball. And he could seriously, I mean, it wasn't him, of course, it was a parody, but he honestly could certainly put up something like that.
Yeah. It's just with the products and stuff, they're not going to have his vision and his absolute yes to it. I mean, that's my fear. But I don't know. I really don't know what the role of chairman can do and can't do. I really don't know. CEO, chief executive officer, okay. Chairman of the board, that's what he is. He'll be chairman of the board he's running a bunch of guys who tell the company what to do.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
This certainly, I don't think this would affect the products at all. I mean, I think, with the iPads and the iPhones and even their OS, which they've kind of really, I mean, been very kind of quiet about it. My boss just got Lion and was going through that, went through that install, was all ecstatic. It cost him $30. Did it all online. It's done. It was done.
Yeah. But it's my example. Here's the best example I can come up with. Steve Jobs could get up from his office, walk down the hallway, and go, "We're going to build a car. We're going to build a car. We're going to build a car. We're going to build a car." Nobody else can do that at Apple. I mean, even this Tim Cook, who I don't know, like, think about him, and what I've been able to find, which isn't much, doesn't give me any hope. He's a suit.
Aren't they all though? I mean, really, in essence, wasn't Steve Jobs a suit when he was
more of a suit than Woz.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Woz has a whole different approach to it.
Yeah.
But did you check out Woz's Facebook page? Woz has said that he was basically getting, all kinds of comments regarding the transition, and said really, he was a great leader, and everybody should read his book because it'll teach everybody a little bit about business.
Read Steve's new book that's out or coming out.
Steve Jobs' book, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the authorized biography, which I'm sure is cool, but I kind of like the unauthorized ones where they go, and look what we found in his trash.
Yeah. Look at all the notes we found.
Yeah. And it's not like Steve Jobs has any trash, but there's, he and Bill Gates, there's a little side to them that, once they get in the room and they close the door, they say stuff that they won't say out in the hallway.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure that happened.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I just hope the best for him and his family because I don't want to be right, but something tells me he's sicker than we think.
Yeah. Well, have to. Because if he had said he wouldn't leave the company unless he couldn't physically perform those duties, and basically that's the reason why he's left.
Yeah, so, he just flat out said that.
Yeah, which the reason is we hope he is well, and in the meantime, it's just a lot of people are wondering just, okay, where does Apple go now? Apple continues to operate. Apple continues to put out good products, and I think that's the best way to look at it. I am looking forward to seeing getting into the Mac and actually seeing a little more of what Lion can do for the end user. I'm actually looking forward to checking out iPhone 5 when that comes out, which you're saying now is going to be mid-October?
Mid-October. I've even heard they talk about the beginning of the year. I mean, we'll see. What about this new building, too?
Yeah, are they going to continue with that? I mean, I would think so. Obviously, they've got the plans, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he walks away. And not so much before the iPhone 5, it's this new building. I don't know. There's something about him in the new building for me that, I don't know, the timing is just kind of, I'm trying to read in between the lines somehow.
Yeah. Well, I want to say real quickly to everybody in our chat room. Mike, Gandalf, J.O., unidentified, which we know is Raven. So hi, Raven. Everybody say hi to Raven. I don't know if she got in the chat and then it bumped her out. So hopefully she can, if she feels she has to jump back in as Raven, she can. But we know it's you. Also, USS Rover. Also, Rover, thank you for being in here as well. Rover asking me the question there, Slick. If I'm registered for CES, end of the month deadline is August 31st. Yes, that'll be the last day you can register for free. And now, have you gone through and registered as press?
I tried.
Something I'm supposed to do?
Well, I don't know if it's so much that, but I tell you, all of a sudden, it seems like we have to jump through some hoops, apparently. Right. I was trying to do it as an alumni, but apparently we're not. I am not as much of an alumni as I used to be.
Well, if we didn't go last year. Did we go the year before? We went in 2009 was the last time we went. 2010, 2011. No, we haven't been in 2 years. So I think, we did register last year, but we just didn't get a chance to go.
Well, see, the past few years, I got spoiled. I admit it. I freely admit it. I got spoiled because first you were doing it, and then they would just go, "Oh, you're registered. You and Andy, you're in. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of the whole thing. Don't worry. Just show up." But that's what we were told.
And it's always been that case. Yeah.
So now I actually contacted somebody at the office, and they said, they actually officially did say they're paring down. They're getting rid of 50% of their alumni.
Yeah.
Because I guess I know this is gonna sound nasty, but I mean it's the way I feel about it. It's just like, so now we're not good enough. Okay.
Right. You have to have
you
have to have a certain viewership or a certain amount of people that hit your website. Because what they had is they had guys that were setting up blogs that had themselves as followers and weren't generating a lot of hits that were going. And basically, what it does is for the vendors that are there spending a lot of money, they're getting leads to nothing that is really viable for them. So
but I got spoiled because they were asking us to come and we would show up, and then not that they would roll out the red carpet to us, but we got a lot of access to stuff, which was nice, and they wanted to give us access to stuff, and we wanted access to stuff, and now it's almost like our family has turned on us a little bit. Well, our cousin don't love us anymore.
There are some changes when it comes to that. One of our contacts that's at the top is no longer running that side of things with CES.
Oh,
so I think what happens? You have people who change. They go, well, yeah, I don't know them. I've never dealt with them. Also, you got to remember back in 2009. Actually, as of before that, we were still a broadcast entity. We were still broadcasting on television. We still had the television segment. So it actually provided more value than us being just a webcaster. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but it certainly has a different. When you're just broadcasting on the net, it does reach out differently to people. I mean, let's face it. Now, Leo, of course, has built an empire. Leo Laporte is who I'm talking about. So I think they'll look at it and say, wait, the guy broadcasts almost 24 hours a day. It's almost like his own channel. He's a lot of respect in the industry. Then it's a little different. Steve, same thing. I think Steve has built quite a good following. He's constantly, bringing his A game when he does these shows, so they can go back and see. Yes, there's a lot of there. I can see that they've covered this stuff. We don't have a photo gallery. Our video gallery is all that's up, and the last one is shot in 2009. So I think I have no problem with them saying, "Hey, you guys got to jump through hoops to be able to come back again." We're at that point. We're ready to go back, but we're going to probably have to jump through hoops to do it. We'll see.
Yeah.
If we go, we go. If we don't, we don't.
I said, I admit, I'm spoiled. I was spoiled. I guess. Well, I really did.
Yeah.
And then
I know what you're saying.
Here's my other concern though, because I've been thinking about this. Because the past couple of years and a year before that, about 3 years ago, remember, all of a sudden, because of whatever, the economy and all that kind of stuff, attendance, at least I guess they thought it was going to be down, and at least to some of the things they had asked us to come to had been down. So I thought they would kind of help us get back there to try to help build it up.
Right.
That was my expectation. Spoil.
I got no problem with that. Hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to iron that out. And it's something I got to do. I've got to do. I can't just, again, I can't sit back and say, well, they'll have us back. No, you've got to go through the process. Now, the other nice thing about it, if you want to go and you are friends with a vendor or you have a vendor that you purchase from, ask them for tickets. Many cases, if a company's going to be out there, like just off the top of my head, say Panasonic or Sony or Microsoft or Intel. You can ask them for passes, especially if you work in a company and you're an IT buyer. They should be able to, get you those passes. For the average consumer that's watching this or listening to this podcast that wants to go, it may be a little more difficult for you. And that's part of the downside to CES. You hear a lot about it. But honestly, let's be honest. It costs a lot of money for organizations to fly all the way to Vegas to set up booths. It costs a lot of money for you as a consumer to try and go get a hotel room, especially that week in Las Vegas, whether you're flying or driving, the whole bit. There's a lot of that. And you know what? A lot of this information you're going to see out there anyways. You're going to see it on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, CNBC. They're all there. Fox Broadcasting.
And I will say this, though. The coverage of the general media outlets, in my opinion, horrible. Just horrible.
Well, they're showing you all the stuff the consumer wants to see, not the cool technical advances that are happening with, don't you remember 4 years ago? We saw the technology for Move, what we see now with PlayStation's Move. We saw the technology with the ability to put your hand up in the air and move your hand down and make your cursor move. Mm-hmm. With that technology from Toshiba, I think we were looking at that. So, I mean, it's again, they're showing just the fluff end of it. And there is a lot of fluff. And that's the stuff that spurs consumers to go out and either spend the money on it or not. I mean, think about it. In the last few years, 150-inch, big screen TV. Who has the money to afford that, or let alone the wall to put it up in their house?
Maybe, but I got to disagree with you a little bit on their coverage, on major media coverage, because they go. There are a few problems I have with it. One is, like you said, they're covering the fluff, and they go, "Oh, look, it's pretty and it's shiny," and they go, "Look, it's pretty and it's shiny." Back to you, Brian. Then why did you even bother doing the break? I mean, okay, it's pretty and shiny. What does it do to you? I mean, can you get anything else? They cover other regular stories much better than that. And then how about either subcontracting it off or getting somebody who knows what they're talking about, like us. We were available. ABC could have sent us out there. We could have done reasonable segments with information and enlightenment.
Actually, I think I did a satellite interview with Kat Schwartz last year during CES.
You did,
yeah, and it was kind of cool the way it worked. I videotaped myself and had her calling in. She called in on a phone line, and then they sent me the video, and then we edited it together. It took me a week to get it, so by that point, it was really, It was seen already, I mean, it was one of those things. They call those satellite interviews. They're so much better when they're live, but you've got to have a lot of equipment to make it happen live. And I asked them, I said, can we do it via Skype? Because if we had it via Skype, we'd be able to do it live, just like we're doing right now. But they weren't able to accommodate because they're set more for broadcast. Now, the idea is we could essentially go to CES this year. We could do all of that we're doing live for radio and television outlets that they can put on their website. But it's a matter of getting them to understand, here, you can have this for your website as an exclusive. And that's one of the things we're looking at, but we'll have to see. Number one, can we get in?
Just let us in the door. Remember, we'll slip you up, I don't know, the SD card. No. That's old tech now, isn't it? An SD card. Oh.
I remember one year they sent me a Betacam tape. And I'm looking at this big box. I think it's still up here. And I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? I can't afford a Betacam deck.
I still got DAT tapes. I'm trying to get the audio off of.
I don't, do you want to go to CES this year? Obviously you do.
You had to ask. I can't believe you even asked me that question.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I can't. I'm the one who's trying to see everything all the time. And Andy's like, how about we take a breather? No. Let's go out of here.
The one I want to do more than CES, honestly, though, that I love doing is Showstoppers. Showstoppers, to me, that's where it really happens. I mean, and we're talking 3 hours. I mean, it's just, what is it? Three? Is it 3 or 4 hours?
It's about 3. Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 hours. And I remember a couple years ago we did Showstoppers. We were only going to broadcast for an hour, and then we kept getting interviews. And I think the third hour, you and I didn't even eat. We just kept going because it was like one interview after another, and it was stuff that was really. God, it was like it was really good stuff. It was like we would have to have walked around CES for a whole day to find each one of these, and we got these in 3 hours because it was all the really cool stuff. Whether it was, we talked to the guy who ran Slacker, we talked to the people from AudioVox, we talked to people from Sennheiser. I mean, we talked to people from even Intel. ATI, I mean, all of that's AMD. It was really kind of everything in one. I think Showstoppers is a phenomenal event. That's why I love that, and I was really happy that we were able to tell Steve about that and get him hooked up with Steve Leone from Showstoppers about that, because I mean, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have run into his idol.
Oh, the love fest that ensued upon that. We thought the universe was going to implode.
It was almost as bad as me and Scott Kelby, Photoshop World, wasn't it?
That's right. You do have your. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Oh, so Steve Haywood has his crush, Leah Laporte.
Yeah.
You have yours, Scott Kelby.
You got to call it man crush. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't talked to Scott in a couple of years, so to me, it's like it's kind of worn off now. I've moved on.
Yeah. Mine is a girl crush, though. I kind of,
Oh, yeah. Kat Schwartz?
Oh, baby. I can't.
Yeah. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to go to. I would like that very much. I want to see all the new products. I mean, I want to see what Microsoft has got in store for us.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, another kin. That was mean. That was uncalled for. That was absolutely just downright dirty.
Wait. All right. So Windows 8. Do you think the announcement's going to be at CES this year? I have a feeling we'll
talk about it some.
Yeah, I think it
I'm
will be.
looking forward to with the Windows 8. I'm looking forward to the USB, the possibility of being able to install Windows 8 to a USB drive, and then being able to just boot, from a different desktop hardware kind of configuration.
Right. What about OS in the cloud? No.
What? No. Tell me more about it. I mean, we've got OSs in the cloud.
Well, imagine again with that whole theory of the thumb drive. You take your thumb drive, you plug in your ID, connects via the Wi-Fi, goes up, starts the operating system, and all of your files, all of your content, all of your contact management, everything is there. And that's basically your thumb drive or your portable drive is your ID. And after you enter a couple of passwords or whatever, there you are. There's your. But you imagine how it's going to be if you leave your thumb drive or your hard drive laying around somewhere.
Oops.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine Microsoft going there at least quickly. Because I mean, look how long it took for them to do Office 365. Well,
yeah.
I just can't imagine.
Are you doing that? Because you were a beta tester on that, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a beta tester on that, and I was one of the poorest beta testers ever. There's something about this new Office interface, and I mean even with like 2007, that the opaqueness just doesn't. Man, it's hard. It's difficult for me to grasp. I mean, I can use it, but it's not very. I like sharp, bold lines on my interfaces, and these interfaces for Office and Outlook, and there's something about them is just so fuzzy, so dreamlike. I don't like it. I'm not saying the product is bad. Because I can't get past the interface a lot of times.
Well, let me ask you: do you like the ribbon? Of course, with Office, where you have your ribbon along the top, and you can easily change kind of the text and the font. That was a part of Office 2007 is the first time I think we saw the ribbon to 2010, and now do you see it in this 365?
I like the ribbon, but it's still a little bit. It's a little too. I can't seem to manipulate it enough, and edit it and make it look like what I want. I can't make it a little bit more bolder, a little more sharper lines, less fat. It's got this little fat feel to it. With the images, the graphics. I'm glad it's there. It's just not very appealing and useful to me. I mean, as strange as it's going to sound, I guess maybe it's just because I've gotten too accustomed to the Google Docs.
Yeah.
But I can't even say with the new interface that Google Docs has. I mean, I'm not happy about it. But if you give me, Office 365 or Google Docs interface, because of the minimalistic approach, I have to go with Google Docs.
I kind of like Google Docs.
Yeah.
I just started to kind of use that. Google Calendar I played with the last weekend, as you know, because I sent you an invite. Yep. I was like, wow, I kind of like this. It has its benefits. So
Come over, Andy. It's nice over here.
And I've been holding back because I'm a big Office user, and But here's the problem: I can't coordinate my calendar here with a calendar there unless I send myself. With Google, I just do it online. Hit save. I can decide if I want to share it with somebody, and I can access it at home because I'm logging in with my account. I really do like that.
Yep.
Which is what the Google is all about.
And imagine what it would have been like had I kept the Google Apps service that I had set up for us that you never wanted to use, and I just went, all right, kill.
Sometimes it takes me a while. I'm a little slow.
I know.
No, I meant that's what Office 365 is about. You save your calendar up, save that up, and then do that.
Hey, since we were talking about Windows 8,
yeah,
get ready to start talking about already. That's right, folks. Windows 9.
Oh, see, that's burnout, though. Come on, don't you think that's a burnout for the consumer? You know, and there's a consumer out there that used Vista and probably hated it and has never moved to 7 because they just thought we're going to get, be disappointed with 7 as well. Well, 7 is definitely, I think, probably one of the best operating systems they've put out. I like XP. Don't get me wrong. XP Professional was great, but I think 7 was the next step up, and it was the best. And it's going to take a lot for me to move from 7 to move to 8, and even a lot more to move from 7 to 9. I'm going to hang on to 7 for a while. To me, it's pretty solid.
Mm. Well, the information I've gleaned about Windows 9 is not so much about the operating system as is the hardware that you need to start thinking about. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what you've come across, but I've been trying to get people off of Windows XP. Not because it's bad, but because, one, as I've learned a long time ago, Microsoft is not updating all of the networking components. So to me, that's a security issue. Okay. But even if you're still a big fan of Windows XP, which I complain about, it's time. You got to move on because April's coming and XP's going. That's it.
Yeah.
For the support. And I think soon, like next month, it won't be available for sale anywhere.
I'll tell you something I think Microsoft should do, and people are going to say, what? All right. I think this is kind of stupid, actually, if you think about it, now that I'm thinking about it. And Microsoft, if you were to send your license in to Microsoft, all right, they sell you a version of Windows 7 Home Premium at a reduced price. Now, true, you could go to a system builder and say, I want 7 installed, and they might be able to install it at a reasonable price for you, but they sell it at a decent price to you. They might find people will move up to that, but what they're going to find, you need this hardware, you need this hardware, you need this a little faster. Somebody with 512 of Windows XP, they're not going to see a benefit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
well, maybe that's a selling point for all the builders out there. The people who sell computers, that's a selling point. Windows XP is going away. No more support. It's time to upgrade.
Yeah. I was working on a computer for the past week, actually, now that I think about it, which got by me. It just got by me. I cleaned it up, I tuned it up, and everything was working fine until I put on Microsoft Security Essentials, and then things just bogged down. And I think I also put on Internet Explorer 8. It's like, what did that break something? Somebody said, over my shoulder, how much RAM they got? Only 192 was available. So we stick in a stick and take it as far as we can go. So now it's 488 megabytes of RAM. And I'm going to have to explain to this person when I get done with it, like, listen, don't ever bring this back here to get it fixed again. Not to me.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel bad for him. But back to Windows 9. Let me get my note up here. Now,
okay.
I got this from July article in Network World, and networkworld.com. This information came from the reporter Andy Patrizio, I believe. It says, from Mike Halsey, a Microsoft MVP and the author of a number of books on Microsoft, who has carefully pieced together the clues that are out there. Windows 9 is going to be, get ready everybody, Windows 9 is going to be x64 only. Microsoft said that its successor, Windows 8, will be the very last version of Windows to support the old 32-bit architecture. Move along. Nothing to see here. And no more legacy support. Backward compatibility, out of there.
Really?
No more. Right.
Now, does that mean they're going to get rid of the? You have that ability to download a Windows XP Service Pack 3 on your Windows Ultimate or Professional. You're not going to be able to do that anymore.
Now that might be available for Ultimate and Professional. Let's assume there might be some, but I mean, at some point they're going to just go, forget it, we're done. And I actually I did some reading up on this to try to figure this out. I wasn't all that well versed in terminology. The technology kind of made sense to me, so I kind of assumed it was there and knew it was there. But they're going to take out what they call WoW64 architecture that supports 32-bit Windows.
Right.
And if you want more information on that, you can go to the msdn.microsoft.com and just do a search on it. WoW64, Microsoft provides Windows 32-bit on Windows 64-bit, also known as WoW64, an emulation layer that enables 32-bit Windows-based applications to run seamlessly on 64-bit Windows. So the stuff that if you're using a 64-bit version of Windows right now, and you're installing 32-bit applications, is Windows 7 works great. Windows 8 probably will work fine. Windows 9,
I don't know.
So think of all the people who are still running these old, even some of them kind of DOS-based programs,
right?
Or even 16-bit programs. I'm talking businesses mostly, really, because they're still out there, man. They are still
you know what, though? I
there.
can't stand that. I've got QuickBooks 2007, and okay, I should be up to 2011. We're not talking about that old, though. I can't get it to run under Windows 7 64 unless I want to have it run under the Windows XP Service Pack 3 downloadable, which you download it. You have to you start up a little. It's almost like a VMware type of client on your computer, and then you can run it onto that. But you know what? It's such a pain to do that honestly, it's so much of a pain that I'd rather just go out and get either a different accounting program. Thank you, Intuit, for upgrading that, or just go ahead and just get new hardware and find another or download QuickBooks again and just get a new version. Or so what some people are doing. Slick, I don't know if you know they're doing this. They're finding computers in their company that are no longer, up to today's speed, but will still run the older programs. They pop in a little more RAM, install the program on that and put that to the side. So you want to do QuickBooks, you want to do anything that's Windows XP oriented, you do it on this computer over there. And then they install a PC Anywhere program or a program to remotely access that computer and control it that way. Kind of defeats the purpose, but I mean, it just does not make sense.
Man, talk about the workaround for the workaround.
It's exactly what it is.
I never even thought about it. That's genius. I never even thought about that. That is
it's good thinking, huh? Good thinking.
My cheap people. Because I've been moving towards a kind of workaround like that for myself now. I've been looking at just for certain aspects of my life because I'm still hanging on to the Palm TX and Life Drive, and it looks like maybe I'll look up on an HP touchpad for $99. Maybe, I mean, it's still possible. It could happen. We'll see. But I'm ready to commit to a netbook, just a cheap old netbook, even running Windows XP, just for calendar, contacts, notes, the Palm desktop, which I sync with the Palm unit, so I can still have access to the information.
You're not giving up on that OS, are you?
The Palm. I still love the Palm OS, even though that's kind of weird though too, because HP. Remember, they said, because they're saying again now what they said before. Oh, the Palm OS, the OS is still viable. We're not dumping it. The Web OS, it's still viable. We're not dumping it. Yeah, really. Watch. I don't trust them.
Yeah. Did you find? I got to ask you, and I don't mean to make you go off topic too much, but did you find the HP touchpad? Were you looking this week?
I kind of gave up after the weekend after Best Buy sent theirs back, and everybody else that was real obvious, Walmart and Office Depot and all that, is kind of just it said we're out. Which, by the way, some of that turned out to be lies, as I suspected. And like in the case of, from what I understand, a lot of Best Buys, some of the employees of Best Buy were confessing, saying, yeah, they made us pull it off the shelf and tell people that, we're sold out. No, they just pulled them off the shelves.
Right.
And they put them in the back room.
So what are they going to do? What is Best Buy going to do, or anybody else, with all of their touchpads or notebooks or or desktops, and a lot of people were pissed off this week because HP announced a brand new. Did you see this? The word is that they're possibly going to be getting out of the business, blah blah. And then they put out this brand new, powerful desktop with a touchscreen.
No, I didn't see that.
It's like,
I didn't see that.
You're confusing us. If I was a stockholder in HP, I'd be really ticked off. Like, what the hell are you guys doing over there? Dude, you're saying we might get out of this business? That's going to help sales.
Bring back Carly Fiorina. Okay?
Yeah, seriously. My God. That's like me saying, I own a burger place. I might get rid of the meat. The meat might not be that great. I don't know.
It'll be a burger, but not necessarily. Oh man!
You know, and then there was a lot of people this week that were saying, "Boy, if you get your hands on," you know, I had a couple of emails this week, people saying, "Hey, if I find a touchpad for, I heard they're going to go for $99 to $149 depending on the size, should I get one?" My response is, if you can get one, get one. You know, if it's gonna benefit you, you know, and then they wanted to know, can I download Google apps with it? You know, the Android apps. You know, and so you tell them, well, it runs a WebOS, but everybody will tell you WebOS was a great operating system. They just never developed it.
I've had this argument this week with lots of people. Okay, so I'm going to have this argument with you because we've discussed this.
All right.
But I think we're at opposite ends of this.
Well,
sometimes it seems like you were, I like it. And other times you're like, yeah, don't.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I used it on the Palm Pre, and I
okay, all right.
But
so that's where you're standing now.
I'm just standing. It's like, if you could benefit from it, use it. Go for it. I mean, honestly, I still have a Palm TX. That's obviously different. That's a Palm OS, but I mean, I still have the TX. It still works. It doesn't do WPA2, but it still works. I kind of like it.
Yeah. See, I was going to use the HP touchpad if I can get one, which again, still might be able to, as just a stopping off point to get me to the next thing. Whatever the next thing is going to be, don't know. Because I read the handbook, and it seems like I'm going to be able to get my information from the Palm desktop into the HP touchpad. Okay, so that's current. It may not be new, but it's current.
All right.
So it's off of the TX and Life drive, so they can die a peaceful death whenever they get ready. That's fine. So then I'm here with the touchpad, and then looking forward to, okay, so where do I go from here? That's what I was looking at it for. Now, some other people I was talking to, I guess, some were talking about rooting it and putting on Android, and others were talking about rooting it, putting on, I think somebody said a version of Linux. I think. And that's us nerds and geeks, and that's fine. But I was just looking at it as like I want to get in the holding pattern. That's all I wanted to do.
That's it?
Yep, that was it for me. Just want to get in a $99 holding pattern.
Wouldn't you like to have one, though?
They would be nice. Again, the price point is right for just the general consumer, I think. $99, 16 gigabytes, I think it's a really good price point.
Right. Well, you know what? And there are people out there that buy stuff just to have it. I mean, I'm not using the Zoom, the Motorola tablet. Mm-hmm. I've got one that I'm holding on to because I went to give it back to my boss, and I was going to tell the story last week, and I never did. And I didn't want to give it back to him because I had installed all my apps on it and everything. So I cleared everything and went to give it back to him and said, "Thanks. Hey, if you don't feel like you're going to be using it, I could certainly use it." And he said, "Well, why are you giving it back to me then?" And I said, "Because I thought you wanted it back." And he goes, "I've used it twice since I bought it." And he bought it outright. Mm-hmm. So he even said he was thinking about turning off the service, the Verizon service with it, since he bought it outright, and just using Wi-Fi. So I said, "Okay." And he goes, "So just hold on to it. Go ahead." I'm like, "I like it." So
now, back to the touchpad real quick. There might be some available before I forget, because there might be some available coming up. Did you hear about that?
Well, there's been some great comments in our chat room. And for those listening to the podcast or watching this, you can't see the chat. But let's see. Comments are that Best Buy was actually holding on to them and backstocking them in case they do a return policy so that they can actually get some returns out of them rather than selling them off. Let's see. Best Buy lost over a $200 sale due to... Oh, okay, that's something else. Sorry, Rover. He's just complaining about the Geek Squad. Let's see. No, that was about it. That was the comments that were on there.
Okay, right, so I don't have the link, but if you go to the HP website and do some searching around there, because I signed up for it. I signed up for a mailing list. Apparently, it looks like HP is considering and maybe trying to gather all of the loose HP touchpads that are out there, because Best Buy wanted to. I don't know about. I may have mentioned this before. I don't know about the whole retail agreements things, like if we don't sell it, we give it back to you, and you give us money back, or however that works.
Yeah. But
it looks like everybody wants to send their touchpads back to HP and let HP dispose of them. And HP's got to the point to where they sound like they're like, okay, fine, we'll do that. So send them all back, and they're going to sign up. I'm on an email list, so once they're ready to cut them loose to the public, I'm going to get an email.
And then that email is going to say, "Come get yours."
Yeah, come get them while they're hot.
Right. Would you use it?
I would.
What would you use it for?
I did, again, replace my Palm takes a Palm Life drive. Contacts, calendar, notes. I'm not going to try to go all fancy on it. I just wanted to do what I needed to get done.
I'll tell you what. We used the Zoom tab the other day. What were you on, the navigation tab? And Verizon services with the Google navigation, and I'll tell you what, it was great. I mean, I've got a small navigation type device. It's hard to see. You can hear it say turn left 20 feet. All of that. But the tablet is a nice large size, so your co-pilot, the person sitting in the passenger seat, can get you to the right places, not get you to the wrong places that are selling the wrong products. Actually, get you to the right places.
Gloria.
Oh, a fabric! I see a fabric store. Yeah.
Is she in the room? Oh, she's still in the room.
She's sitting right across from me.
You're a brave man.
She's watching me. I have to speak in code. Yeah. So anyway, no, I kind of like that. I like that aspect of it. So for somebody, when you're going on a drive with somebody, they have something a little larger to hold on to and can. Will you stop it? She's so dirty. But you have that.
Take a turn for the A room, the adult room. Waka, 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 waka.
But obviously, there's just better screen size and everything on that. I like that, and to the point now where I would almost say, if I stay with this company, I got to keep using the tab. Well, if I didn't, I'd probably be looking at an Apple type of iPad 2 or something along that line. I do like that because I do like the iPod Touch, which I've hardly picked up though in the last couple of weeks because
you're not using it.
Trust me, it's mine though. Oh. You see his ears perk up.
iPod Touch.
Oh boy.
Well, let's see. We got another phone coming out too. We talked a little bit earlier about the iPhone 5, which everybody's keeping on their radar.
All right. So Wall Street Journal puts out a story. Is this what you were going to talk about? Or
let's see.
You want to talk about the BlackBerry Curve, the new one?
No, go with that.
Okay.
Because I'll follow up.
Okay. So Wall Street Journal puts out a story this week that Sprint could have the iPhone 5 by as early as October, September, basically when the iPhone 5 comes out. So, there are ways of finding out. Number one, through FCC filings. Whenever a company files for, and these phones are kind of controlled under the FCC, you have to file a kind of a statement that they're going to be developing this and et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of wonder, all right, are they definitely going to be coming out with that? And when? Now, we heard these rumors before with T-Mobile. We heard these rumors before with Verizon. And obviously, we saw Verizon's come to fruition. But as far as Sprint is concerned, the official comment that I got from my buddy at Sprint, who is in public relations, et cetera, is we've heard of this. However, nothing has been stated, and we do not comment on rumor or speculation. Pretty much
neither confirm nor deny.
Basically, that's the case. They've heard about it in the media. While there have been reports in the media, this is something that they're not saying definitely is going to be happening.
Sprint. And then Andy gets a phone call at home later. By the way,
yeah, and you wonder. Okay, well, number one, on the same day that this information came out, a new BlackBerry was announced, and RIM is having problems too. RIM has been laying off people. So I think the last thing you want is to have an announcement of a new iPhone 5 by a carrier on the same day they're announcing another product in the BlackBerry line that they want to sell. Because what happens? As soon as you say, we're going to have the iPhone 5, then people stop buying either the Android devices or the BlackBerry devices because they're going to wait for the iPhone 5. My boss already told me, he says, let's find out what Sprint can do for us. So you suddenly run into that situation where people are going to suddenly hold off. It's like saying just before Christmas that, hey, we're going to have a new computer right after the holidays that's running Windows 8. You don't want to do that because what are you doing? You're stifling any laptop sales, any desktop sales that are going to happen before the end of the year. It's almost like merchandise suicide.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense.
Well, and are you talking about the BlackBerry Bold 9900? Is that the one you were talking about?
I'm not sure exactly what the model number was, but they announced it the same day that all the rumors came out about them carrying the iPhone 5, which I think is a great thing. It would be wonderful if they did, especially if they had the Simply Everything plan going on, because then you've got a tremendous benefit with their Simply data, everything going. If you're getting unlimited data on it, you're getting a much better deal than you get with Verizon, and a much better deal than you're getting with AT&T. At a much better price.
Yeah, and just a reminder, as I understand the technology, and the reason I say it that way is because I have not used an iPhone on Verizon, and I have some questions about Sprint, because as I understand it, from talking to people who own the iPhone through AT&T, on AT&T, the GSM network, you can have a phone conversation as well as use the data services, but you cannot do on the current technology on CDMA, which is Verizon and Sprint, by the way. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. Unless I know
that was the other way around. I thought it was if you're on a call, you can. No, you know what? That is big. AT&T's big claim, isn't it? That you can be on the call and be accessing their data service, which is that whole commercial with the lady who wins a lot of stuff from a radio station.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including Rick Wakeman in the living room, or whatever the guy's name is. Yeah. Is that Rick Wakeman? No, who is it? It's not Johnny Winter. No, it's not. No, the one who does. That
is. Wait a minute. That is Johnny Winter.
That's Johnny Winter. Oh,
Edgar Winter.
Edgar Winter. Oh, that's right. It's Edgar Winter, not Johnny. Yeah. That's his brother.
Right.
So who the hell is Rick Wakeman?
Oh, isn't he from Yes?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anderson Wakeman Group and
Howe.
Sounds like an attorney firm.
That reminds me of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe.
See, I've been doing oldies too long. I need to get back into rock radio. I'm tired of it. Help me.
But this just came up now, and actually the hurricane has something to do with this. There's some hurricane-related stuff we could go into if we have time. I've been watching this, but apparently the hurricane pushed back something. Now, I've been using a Sprint Epic 4G Galaxy S. And the phone, in general, my opinion as far as data phones and stuff like that, it's one of the best, if not the best one out there that Sprint's got available. So, I'll give it all that credit. I've got my issues with the service, got my issues with some of the other things, but let's put that aside for a minute.
Do you like the slide-out keyboard?
I love this slide-out keyboard. There are two phones that they have with slide-out keyboards, and in my opinion, this is the top. This is the top. There's something about because the buttons are a little bit bigger too. There's the larger buttons. It doesn't make the phone larger, but it's easier access when you're trying to type and that kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I do like that.
A lot of people don't like touchscreens.
I have a problem with the touchscreen. I had to read. I'm still rereading the handbook to find out what's available and stuff like that. Because one of my problems was I turned the phone on and I'm on a call. The screen goes dark, and I've adjusted the displays so it should have stayed on a lot longer. But all right, I'm talking to you, and I pull the phone and I want to hang up. And I'm looking for the red button. The screen is dark. So now I'm touching the screen. I'm running my hand up and down to get the screen to come up with the red button so I can go hang up. I had to reprogram it, or really it's a check mark. I call it reprogramming. Where now that, when I'm done with the call, I can just push the side power button and it will hang up and then the screen will light up. So, the Google thought ahead on this one, thankfully. Google, right. Thank you, Google. But they've got the Galaxy, the Samsung Galaxy S2 is on its way. It was scheduled for Monday, but with the Hurricane Irene throwing everybody's schedule out of whack, they have moved the announcement. There's an official announcement on Tuesday from Samsung about something. It's probably going to be the Galaxy S2, which appears to be a much better phone. Now, I have ignored the look of the phone for the longest time, so today I finally pulled up a picture of it. Now I know what the screaming is from Apple in Europe about it.
Oh,
pull up a picture of the Samsung Galaxy S2, everybody. I'm trying not to ruin this for you.
All right,
I'll give you some time while you do that. Let me just give you some specs about it. You will, when you see the picture, you will go, "Whoa!" So the major announcement is supposed to be on Tuesday. It's got a 4.3-inch screen, 800 by 400, 800 by 480 screen, 1.2 gigahertz processor. From what I've read in regards to the one for Sprint, it's dual core. It doesn't say on my notes, but it's supposed to be dual core. Then I remember.
Okay.
4G network. The screen is larger than the iPhone 4. We don't know how big the iPhone 5 is going to be.
Right.
Keep in mind that the iPhone 4 is on a 3G connection for the most part. No, overall it is 3G connection. Okay, now that you've had a chance to pull up the picture of the Galaxy S2,
yeah.
What does it look like?
Looks a little like the iPhone. We've got a shot up there on the in the stream as well right now. Yeah, it really does.
I'm amazed at how much it really looks like an iPhone.
A little. I mean, yeah, I could see it. I could see it.
I mean, now I know why Apple was screwing, because they were yelling about touch interface, and it looks like it. I'm like, oh, come on, shut up.
Yeah.
We're past that. All right.
Well,
I looked at it and went, ooh.
Oh boy, Apple. Everybody copies Apple.
It's awfully close.
Yeah.
It's just awfully close. And by the way, the Galaxy Galaxy S2 website is up. So if you want to go to Samsung.com and do a search for it, it's it gives them that. It's pretty. It looks neat. I want one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm running the Galaxy 2, but it's the Fascinate on the Verizon network. It doesn't have the slide-out keyboard like your Epic has, but boy, I really, really like the phone.
What do you have?
I have the Fascinate, which is basically like the Epic, except doesn't have a slide-out keyboard. Now, Gloria's using the Nexus. She's been using that one from Sprint. Nexus is kind of the next step up, Slick. It's very it's also a Galaxy phone, I believe, isn't it, Gloria? Yeah. And that one is nice as well, but again, it does not have a slide-out keyboard, so it's more like the Fascinate that used on the Verizon network. I think Samsung's got a great run on their phones. I've really been liking the phones they put out. The HTC, the Droid, was a great phone as well.
Mm-hmm. You said you have a Galaxy 2?
No, not a Galaxy 2. It's Galaxy S Fascinate. Galaxy S.
It's fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm pulling it up because I don't remember what that looks like. So.
It's very much like the Epic, except no slide-out keyboard. I mean, very, very similar. The Nexus, which is by Sprint, is a nice phone. Very similar to that Fascinate. If you're looking at that picture, very similar, but has a little bit of a bump on the end, a little curvature, so that when you're talking on it, it's almost like, remember how the Pre had kind of, the Palm Pre had that kind of a bend on it? It's not as significant, but it certainly has that kind of feature.
The phone that was sent to you, the dual screen phone, which one was that? That Sprint also carries?
That was the Echo, which so I gotta send that one back. I haven't sent that back yet. But
actually, we got to send a few things back because I got an email from somebody from months ago that we talked about. They were like, "Where is it?"
Which product?
Andy's got it. I don't have it.
Which product?
It's a headphone.
Headphone? Which headphone?
Sennheiser.
We sent that back.
Did you?
Yeah, I've even got the UPS tracking thing on it.
Okay. I'll tell them they should have it.
Yeah,
because they were like, "Where is it?"
We sent that back, didn't we? The Sennheiser headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to there and we sent it back via UPS.
Okay.
So,
All right, I'll just go.
I hope I didn't send that to Steel Series.
you said this would be good. He sends a Sennheiser headphone to Steel Series. So then we have to talk to Bruce. Hey, Bruce, you know that.
Thanks for the gift, guys. I really like it, but I like it.
Could you send that?
I like my headphones better. I can hear that now. I better check on that.
Or the other thing could be a good question as to why is he sending me a Sennheiser headset? So we have to explain that one.
Well, that'd be easy. That'd be easy.
It was a mistake.
That would be easy.
Oh, so you're talking to Sennheiser behind my back? No, Bruce.
That's not like sending a naked picture of your girlfriend to your wife, is it?
Not that I've ever done that. No.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
This week. No. So the Galaxy S2 ought to be a good phone. But I want to ask you about the dual screen. How did you like it or not like it? Or because I've looked at it and the concept looks great. I'm looking forward to the dual screen tablets, but I was wondering how that worked out for you after you split the screens apart and then turned it and then tried to do some texting and writing.
Listen, I like a lot of the products that I've seen coming to us from Sprint, but that is one that I did not like, and I'll just be blunt about it. Battery was awful. The screen was dark. It was clumsy. It was hard to use, and it was a real thick phone, the Echo. And so, yeah, I wasn't really a great fan of that one, which is, it's unfortunate because, again, I see a lot of great products. It was a product from LG that I just did not like at all.
Yeah.
So, however, the next
that's
one
what I got in phones.
The next one they had sent us was the Nexus, and it was like, okay, cool. This is more what I like.
Are you on Sprint or what are you on? You should be on Verizon, right?
Verizon. I'm on Verizon, but we have a Sprint account which we need to reopen.
Yeah.
So, because the girls, we got the plan so that the entire family could use it. And honestly, out of all the plans, T-Mobile I would never go with ever again. But Sprint was the best operating plan that was out there for the cost and for a family. If you have a family, that's the best one to go for. I
mean, with all these consolidations and stuff like that, I've been thinking a little bit about Sprint because they've got Sprint, Nextel, and Boost. Now, the Sprint and the Boost, that's pretty obvious. The Nextel was aimed at business, but I'm starting to wonder how much longer they're going to hang around, or maybe they'll hang on to the Nextel name somehow. But I mean, why would you want or need Sprint and Nextel at the same time? I love the Nextel two-way service. But you could incorporate that into Sprint. I'm thinking like I run the company. Wouldn't at some point you just go Sprint, the bigger name, Nextel, let's make it a brand, and then, or, side service or something? I don't know.
I still think Boost is also tremendous, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Especially with that. They started out $50 a month flat fee. Great,
yeah.
And then the voice and all, text and all that. And then little rollover action going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
It was to the point where actually the guy that I work with, he usually buys his phones outright. He just does it that way. He thought, well, wait a minute. If I go with Boost, I could eventually, because he pays his bills on time, he said I could eventually be paying $35 a month for unlimited. I said, absolutely. And it's all within the Sprint network. So you'd be fine to be able to do that. So he's thinking about it. Although Sprint's coverage in our area is not the best, and 4G is obviously, their WiMAX is not available in Tucson yet, whereas we are seeing 4G. Still haven't checked out the tablet with 4G, which hopefully, if I get a chance today to do it, I'm going to do it because we're going to be up in that area.
To try to be fair to Sprint about their coverage, because I've made some comments about being unsatisfied with it, but I also kind of qualified that. Now, you're saying you haven't been satisfied with it, but in general, I assume that within the city limits, it's fine, right?
Oh yeah, city limits, no problem. But remember, I live on the northwest side of Tucson. You're in the completely other area of Tucson. Do you run into the same issue?
Yeah, but remember, Picture Rocks is even farther west than you are. I'm using both extremes of the Tucson metropolitan area, and in the extremes, not so good.
I like what Raven says. She said, I like the coverage of Verizon, but I hate the price. And a lot of people that have been on Verizon have made a mistake. And the mistake is if you are on unlimited service, right, with Verizon, if you make a change, you automatically go to the 2 gig cap. If you don't change, you're grandfathered in to continue using the unlimited service. So you just got to decide, is it time to move? And if you move and come back, you're not going to get that same plan. Which is the only one that I believe offers unlimited now, or some of the other services out there, like the Boost and the even Virgin Mobile. I think they offer it, and then of course Sprint with its Simply Everything, which is $99 a month. I find that hard to beat for voice, text, and data.
Yeah, I can't see the chat room because it kept freezing on me, so I just kind of gave up. But a question for Raven, and answer in the chat room, Raven, and Andy will tell me. When you talk about the grandfather unlimited, I presume, because I know a little bit of, I remember some of the history of Verizon. Did you get unlimited under Alltel and then get pulled into Verizon,
no,
Raven?
Actually, Raven says that unlimited is way too expensive, so she's not on the unlimited plan.
Okay.
But you see, I remember when I first got into it, their unlimited plan she had was $160.
Who, Raven?
Yeah. 160. Now, is that for one phone? Because if that's one phone, that's crazy. She said, I went backwards, got a dumb phone, and then I got the smartphone. For one phone, $160. See, you can do that. You can do simply everything data, where it's unlimited data, unlimited texting, and then your voice, you're limited to, I think, 1,500 minutes. And don't quote me on this, but I think you could get it for around $70 with Sprint. $100 for simply everything, which is everything unlimited, except for, of course, calls to Canada and Mexico. You were able to get it at a reasonable price. Now, do they scale you down if you're using a lot of data? No. Apparently, they don't do any of that at all either. So they don't throttle you back, not like your cable company does if you use too much data. So I don't know. I don't call anybody either. That's a funny thing about that. We get very worried about what we don't have that we don't use. You know, when it comes to minutes, we may say, well, I've got to have 1,500 minutes. But you may not have ever use that. If you look at your history, you may say, hey, you only use 300 minutes or 200 minutes or, it may work like that. You may find you don't ever use your cell phone for the minutes.
Yeah, I tend to go to one or two extremes. I'll either get the all-encompassing plan or where unlimited voice, unlimited text. I mean the cheapest plan I can get from whoever I can get it from. Just, down dirty cheap.
Right.
Or if I pay like for a metered plan, I try to go with like unlimited text, and I just try not to use the phone for phone calls. I might take incoming, I might listen to voicemail, but I try not to place any outgoing calls on a wireless phone if I have to pay per minute like that.
Right.
So I go. It's either I'm either on it all the time or I'm barely on it.
All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about something else that we can change gears here just a tad. About the fact that we're starting to go through the website a little more, and we're starting to change it up, starting to add stories. We're adding links to stories. So anytime you come up with a link that you think is beneficial to some of the visitors for Tech Talk Radio, our hit count's increasing since we've started putting links up on our site. Now, I was always against putting links up on the site. Number one, I like it if we generate the content. Well, obviously, one reason for that is because people stay on your site. It's always nice. We're not a real monetizing website. You'll see that we have ads. We like for the ads to pay for themselves, basically, for the site itself. That's about it. I don't intend to, nor could I ever plan on really making, a lot of money that I wouldn't have to work unless everybody was buying the GoDaddy hosting website buttons on our website. By
the way, we're not opposed to that. We just want to say that officially.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be great. So you will see links once in a while, and these are links that I check out and I go, okay, this works out good. This works out good, and I go through and I physically add these. They're not auto-generated. But with that, we're starting to include links to other sites, including Global Geek News, which is a great site if you haven't checked out Global Geek News. It's fun. It's a fun site. It's for the geek in all of you. So if you have a bit of a geek in you, and he puts a lot of photos up there, and it's a guy who's up in Colorado. We know a few mutual friends, and we link right through to his site. Forbes. There's some great articles we found on Forbes lately. We link directly to their article. Shelley Palmer puts out a great tech journal. We can't afford to have writers. Slick and I both work, so it's difficult for us to write. But when we can, we do. So we've got a couple of articles up there. Number one about the new Panasonic Lumix that was announced yesterday. It's the FC150. Phenomenal camera. And I'm a digital SLR user now. But this camera as a point and shoot with interchangeable lenses and the ability to add some features to it for video, high definition video, 1920 by 1280, full HD video, AVC HD, MPEG 4, H.264. This is a wonderful camera, and price wise, it's cheaper than your digital SLRs, about $399, so it's or $499, I think. So it's still cheaper by about $200, depending on which camera that you're looking at. But it's some really wonderful features on that. It'll be available in mid-September, so you can take a look at the article there. I'd appreciate that, and if you like it, share it. The next one is on file fragmentation software from Diskkeeper. Now, Slick, you've used their product before. I've used their product. They don't pay for that article. It's just something I saw, and I thought, you know what? This is important. So decided to post a little article about it. Plus, it gives you a chance to not only download a trial copy of it, but they've got a contest going on now. that if you go to their website, disckeeper.com, it's DISCKEEPER, you can register to win a free laptop and a copy of Disckeeper by downloading Disckeeper and testing your current configuration out with it.
Very nice people, by the way.
They really are, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen them at Showstopper, CES, the whole bit. Just really cool stuff. So you want to check that out. Now, somebody said, what is file fragmentation? This is something we used to hear back in the old days of Windows 95 and even DOS. One of my friends said it's like watching Tetris. You know, you see the files all lay out. You remember the old disk fragmentation software? You would watch it kind of and then your screensaver would kick in and it'd start all over again. And it would take people 3, 4, 5 days to defrag. Well,
yeah.
Disckeeper changes that whole process. And even though our computers are faster now and our hard drives are better and our hard drives are faster, it still keeps all of your files in order so that you can access your files a little faster. So you're not in a situation where, and I've always compared whenever we've had Disckeeper on, to taking a light blue pair of socks and throwing them in a sock drawer with blue socks and trying to find them. And the thing is imagine that's your files. Whenever your computer uses a file, it just drops it wherever it drops it on your hard drive. So you try and find that file again, it's going to take, the more files you get on there, the longer it's going to take to get that file. Deleted files, file fragments, those all cause it to slow down. So what Disckeeper does is it keeps it in the background, keeps your drive fragment free. So it tries to keep all your files in order, all your operating system files. I mean, it's like, it's got like, what is that, OCD? It's got OCD on your files.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it does.
I like the way it works because I'll be using my computer and whatever, and I'll stop. And, after 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, if I'm not using it, it's like Disckeeper goes, is he here? Is he busy? All right, let me neaten up some of the files. Because I've actually watched it do that. I was like, because I usually, sometimes I'll leave my computer on all night and I'll just let it sit here and don't have the screensaver on. And, it'll kick in later. And I could tell the hard drive, I'm not doing anything. The hard drive's not doing anything. And all of a sudden, the hard drive starts moving. And I go, what the? And I'll check to see what's running in the background. It's Disckeeper going, he's away. Let me put this stuff away before he gets back.
That's exactly what it is. It's like the Sheldon of files.
Yeah.
Yeah. It keeps it all together.
Oh, Sheldon. We're about to get that show on a local TV channel weekdays. Did you know about that? Yeah,
I'm just wondering, though, they've only been on the air, 4 years now?
Mm-hmm.
4 seasons?
Yep.
So isn't that stuff going to repeat after the first, it's 4 days a week? That's like a whole month.
It's one of those shows where it's that popular and it's that good.
Yeah. Plus, I think what they're going to try and do is eventually they're going to try and put, especially when, because Chuck Lorre owns that program, I think we're going to find that when 2.5 Men returns with Ashton, they're going to try and back off on the 2.5 Men syndicates. Because eventually what they want is they want people to see the show as, I think may have done the same thing with Spin City with Michael J. Fox and Charlie Sheen. They kind of want to change that whole, that whole process, how that goes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. That makes sense. I just wonder how it's going to be till it repeats itself. Are you going to be watching? Are you going to be watching the new season? I would hope so. Even though it's still on Thursday nights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My plan is to watch. However, the facts are that we don't have a digital well, no, we do. There's a TV with a digital tuner. We just haven't hooked up an antenna to it because all of our content's consumed off the net. We have Cox internet service here at the house, but no Cox television service.
Oh, really?
Don't need it. Never,
Yeah, but how can you watch episodes of shows like The Big Bang Theory?
There are some things you just don't get to see anymore, or you have to, make arrangements so that you can see them. Most of the time, because Sons of Anarchy is coming back too, which is another show I really like. I got to find a way to either catch up and stay on top of it, or I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the thing in the past was about things like The Big Bang Theory was that it would be on Thursday night, but the episode would be available on the net from CBS.com, Friday, Saturday, whatever. And I could wait for that because when I was trying to watch it live, I was getting interrupted anyway. So I'd miss lines and scenes and stuff like that. So like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll just draw the shade, and try to ignore it for a few days until it comes online, and then everybody's gone. And I put the headphones on and I go, okay, give me my Sheldon.
Now, have you tried hooking up a digital antenna to a television?
Not yet. Just haven't had time. It's one of those things I haven't had time. I did notice, to my surprise, which I'm seriously considering investing in. In the Walmarts, I looked at the TVs, and the cheapest I could find was, just, I don't know what, $125, $150, cheap.
Right.
They don't even have the tubes anymore. No tubes. They're gone. I guess you can order it online, but not in the store. But I stumbled into a CVS. I was doing just a little, shelf shopping. And at the register where you get, the pipe tobacco and all that other stupid junk, they had a little portable TV that has a digital tuner in it for like $79. That's what I want.
That's kind of cool.
That's what I want. So I'm hoping to have enough pocket money one day to walk into CVS and go, gimme.
Right.
So now not only will I have the TV with the digital tuner, but now it's portable again, which is what I want in the first place. I want to be able to watch TV wherever I am. I don't care about the big screens. I want to be able to pick it up and go. That's what I care about.
I like that idea. Because then you're driving on a trip. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I remember a trip that I made to Las Vegas, and we wanted to watch Lost. So we pulled into a little, what was it, an AM/PM? And we sat in the parking lot and watched it on the laptop with a digital tuner card in the computer. Don't you have one of those, don't you?
But it's analog. It picked up the analog signal. Oh. Now, for the record, that's something else we should tell people too, is that it appears, based on my shopping, it appears that the USB tuners for computers are even cheaper than that little digital portable television that I saw. They can range as low as, I've seen them as low as $35.
Wow. That's not bad at all. So then you get TV wherever you're at.
Plus, there are extra added features to it. I mean, they got a little recorder in it, so you can time shift. What else could you do with it? The recorder was the big one I remember, because that's why I was like, good. Then I can start. I can set up the schedule recorder and walk away and not have to be at the computer and still come back and watch the program.
My favorite is the one from Elgato.
Yeah,
Elgato will actually even work with the iPad as well. And it has some neat features in there. It works for both Mac and PC, and it's a TV tuner. And very tiny, very small, smaller than a normal thumb drive. And it just plugs right into your TV. You plug your antenna or your component cables into it, and you can record. It has a great software program for recording, and you can output it to different formats. I mean, it's a pretty good program.
Cool. Did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to kick out a service, a reasonable, cheap service, so that you don't have to. I mean, if you just had internet access, they would allow you to watch the local channels via the internet, or, I mean, super cheap.
Yeah.
Or they would help you set up a recording schedule so you can come back and then log on at home and then play back the shows. And I'm not talking about cable and satellite TV channels. I'm just talking about the local thing, so you can catch your local news.
Right.
Your local morning show, whatever, local.
Well, how about get to a point now where you could start go to CBS and stream the stuff right off CBS, or if you don't want to kill the local affiliate, just go to KOLD's website and I choose to watch programming here.
That would be nice if the network networks would do that for their local affiliates. That would be great. The network would go, all right, tell you what, we're not going to host it here anymore. We will help you, our local affiliates, by allowing you to play it back through your sites. That would be great.
Yeah, I don't understand something. One thing K-Gun is going to be our affiliate here in town for the big Jerry Lewis. Well, actually, it's not even Jerry Lewis anymore. Yeah. The big annual Labor Day telethon, which I don't know if you've heard. What do you remember? Let me ask you. Other than Jerry Lewis, what is one thing you remember real strongly about the telethon?
Well, there's kind of a couple things, but again, it has nothing to do with the reason the telethon exists. It had nothing to do with really about raising money for it. The third thing I remember about it was for that, but I remember almost kind of equally Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin.
Yeah.
Because Sammy seemed to, on most occasions, and most of the telethons, always seem to come out at the end and be like the last act. And from rumors I've heard, I don't know how true they are, but if they were ever short, Sammy would always make that donation to get them beyond, the whatever the thing was.
Right.
So it would be Sammy Davis, Dean Martin, And as a child, guilty. I don't know what it was, but there was something about Jerry. I was always a big fan about Jerry Lewis, but I watched him on TV, and he said, "Kids, go get the cans and go knock on the doors." And I go, "Gotcha, Jer." And I went and got the can and wrapped the paper on it. And I know my neighbors thought I must have been, what the hell's wrong with this boy? Because I would be, I would go all around raising money. I'm collecting for Jerry's kids. Do you have anything? And, some of them probably rightfully skeptical, but, hopefully they believed me, which I did. I took the money. We drove all the way to the television station in Albuquerque and dumped the money. And I thought I was like the big star. I'm like, I'm going to be on TV, dumping my money in the big acrylic thing. And I did, and they didn't put me on. I go, next year they'll see me.
You didn't get onto a telethon until you were in radio, right?
Right, I didn't. Yeah. I really didn't.
Well, I think the other thing you probably remember quite a bit about the telethons is that you knew when it came on, and you knew that in the middle of the night you could tune in, you could see some kind of a comedian, some kind of a magic act, or a big name celebrity that would, perform at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and come back and perform at 3 in the morning, because you have different people from different walks of life tuning in, and it was kind of the thing to see Jerry Lewis killing himself basically by the 22nd hour, looking just about like he was about to pass out. Sweaty, and he was always sweating. His clothes were a little more disheveled, and he was like running a marathon. Well, now that Jerry Lewis is gone and is not coming back this year, from what I understand, they've also shortened it. It's no longer a 24-hour.
Oh, yeah. Starts
at 6 and it ends at midnight. And what they're doing is they're bringing in bigger name acts to that, and with that bigger name acts, they believe in that short amount of time. Not only will they save money, rather than getting the network to cover them and paying for the broadcast time, they'll save money, but they'll also get bigger acts to draw more money. And I don't know if this is going to work. This is the first year that they're trying that.
I got a bad feeling. I don't think it's going to work. But I also knew there was a little some griping from the affiliate saying that, the way it was put is that the affiliates threatened MDA. I mean, using the word threaten. Right. That if they didn't do something to make the telethon better without Jerry, they may not carry it at all. And if they did carry it, it'd be for a few hours, like the 6th thing or even less, And I'm like, man, things are... That's not good.
Well, I think they may be guaranteed to get more people to watch it from 6 till midnight, maybe for a longer period of time if the acts are really good. I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to work, and who's going to be the driving force as far as a host. Is there one? I mean, I haven't heard of one. I was on the MDA website, which is mda.org. Now, and for those that don't know, their national headquarters are actually based here in Tucson. So I don't see if it says who's going to be the host. It just shows Lady Antebellum is going to be one of the groups that's performing.
I heard there was talk of a guy and a girl who I guess they're not famous celebrities, but they've got some history. But
so it's not Ryan Seacrest. I saw the names
and I was like, I'm not going to watch.
It's not Ryan Seacrest.
Oh please. Oh please.
Yeah,
man. I mean, I hate to be so down on Ryan Seacrest, but I just am. I can't say anything about the man personally, but professionally, I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
What's the point?
All right. The co-host will be Nancy O'Dell.
Okay.
Jan Carl, Allison Sweeney, and Nigel Lithgow. Not too sure. And then the Goodwill Ambassador is Abby Umal, who is 12 years old. Martina McBride, Darius Rucker, Lady Antebellum. So they'll have a lot of country superstars performing. Let's see. They have a young man from Tucson, Arizona. They'll be featuring him in the broadcast, as well as others from other parts as well. And Clear Channel's also behind it in a contest that they've done called Get Discovered contest. So they're going to be bringing musical challenge as well. So they'll be partnering with them on this. It looks very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. I don't wish them any ill will or anything like that. And I mean, but it's not. As the telethon progressive, things are. It's not the same. It's not the same. And now it's really not the same. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Well,
I really don't know what they're going to do. My favorite, I got to
week,
share
right?
this, though. I don't know why, but I just got to say this. My favorite of the telethons have always been when Jerry was Jerry, because I remember he would have an act be out there doing their serious singing, and then he'd be in back of the camera going,
yeah, just the
like
goofy
that.
stuff. Yeah, the goofy stuff.
And I remember one time, I guess he really got desperate. I guess they weren't keeping up on one telethon, which he kind of kept going for a while. But he said, all right, that's it. And he just got a couple of buckets. He said, I'm coming out of the audience, and I'm taking your money. And he said, band, just play something. And he did. He just ran through the entire audience, the live audience, go, put it, take the ring off. The diamond, put it in there. Come on, let's go. I love that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be weird to see, again, in this shortened format without Jerry Lewis. Just how they will do, but for the sake of everybody that's involved, I hope it's successful. That would be good, But again, and a lot of people are asked to help. Locally in town in Tucson, they just did a Children's Miracle Network fundraiser with 92.9 The Mountains, a big station here in town. Chris Paddock, who's I would call him a good friend. He's a good guy. You worked with him before. Actually, he was the bad guy at Power 1490. He's the guy that took you off the air.
I never had ill will to him, but some people kind of turned on him personally, which was kind of, I don't know. It was surprising. I mean, I can understand how. It's just that, but I'm going but it's Curly. He didn't.
Yeah.
I can imagine if I was in his spot, fire everybody, and then you'll run the joint.
I'll tell you what. Did you see the news? Did you see the news that over the time that they've been doing that fundraising, something like over $200,000, unless there's a typo in there, $200,000 is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever raised that kind of money. I think we got like $4,000 once doing a toy drive, and that was about it. And that was in one morning, so that wasn't too bad. That was so much fun. It was so much fun. We raised
the toy drive.
Raised $4,000 in cash, plus toys. And then Barry and I got to take that cash and go in the store and buy all the toys for the kids, because it was for a Christmas drive to help the less fortunate kids during Christmas and the holidays. And it was so much fun to go, oh, a kid would like this and a kid would like this. And then we did it at Walmart, and then Walmart gave us, I think, 20% off. So that money all went to buy more toys. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was so much fun.
Yeah, did a toy drive once where we did the stuff to bus thing. We actually lived in the bus. Oh, that was brutal. That was brutal. I used to get, they would wake me up at 2 a.m. Do a break, Slick. Oh God. Hey, I'm still on the bus. Bring a toy.
In case anybody's listening, come out and bring a toy. Yeah. Oh, boy. All right, we're doing a contest on my Facebook page, and this is for my side venture, and I'll promote it here. Hold on. Andy Taylor, Technology and Media. If you go to the Facebook page for that and you like it, if you're not a member, like already, once we hit 100, we're going to do a drawing for a Logitech webcam. And I'm going to do plateaus. Every time we hit another 100, we'll do a drawing for something else. Like I'm thinking next time will be for a hard drive. That's not a bad deal. It keeps everything under $100, and it just builds that up. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of fun to do. It's the way I look at it. So be sure to, if you're not a member already on Facebook, be sure to like it, because you could be in that drawing for. And when we hit 100, we'll do the drawing, and then we'll make the next 100, give a chance with that previous 100 as well. So it'll be 200 people with a chance. So I kind of like that.
Well, that's cool.
It's kind of fun to use Facebook that way. All right, let's see some other things. Denver Post did a survey. Did you know that 13% of people fake it? Have you ever faked it?
Yes.
You've done it? I know I have. Absolutely have done it. It's nothing worse than when you do it and then they still come up to you. You feel what? What?
Wait, I gotta ask. Why is Gloria laughing in the background?
Because she does it. She's done it too. You faked it as well.
Fake what?
Fake the phone thing. Oh, I didn't clarify. That's what we're talking about here. Okay, 13% of people, according to a study done by the Denver Post.
Of course I knew you were talking about phones. Of course you did.
Somebody walks up to you. Have you ever done this? I know I have. Will you pick up the phone? 1 second.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Why? No, why haven't you done that?
Because with my luck,
the phone will ring.
Oh yeah. I've done the reverse fake though.
Yeah.
I've done the reverse fake. I remember when I first got a cell phone. I swore I would not do it. I swore to myself I wouldn't do it.
Right.
And sure enough, I did. Driving down the street, trying to look cool. And I was so ashamed of myself. I was like, "Why did you do that?"
It's only bad when you get busted. That's all. But or the other thing you do is you actually dial a call, because with smartphones you can do them so quick now, where you dial a call. You say, "Oh, I'm on the phone with my mom." I've done that in my office, where John's come back to talk to me about something. I don't feel like talking because I'm working on something. Or I'll pick up the phone. Yeah. Because I knew our phones weren't dialing through.
Why do you think I wear a headset a lot?
Perfect.
Or put the earbuds in.
How many people think of do that? And the number they say is only 13%. I think it's a lot higher than that.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it's bad. It's antisocial, but you get to a point where you just say, I don't want to deal with it. You know, so but there are those people that will hang around and wait for you to get off the phone call.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no escape. There's no escape. So can't you see I'm on the phone? Yeah, I'll wait. No, I'll be on a while. Oh, I've got nothing going on.
I'm talking to Istanbul. Certainly happens. Oh boy. All right, what else we got for what else we got for today? I had a couple of tech questions. A couple of comments. And this is good for you if you're building your own or I have lately been experiencing some HP computers that have been dead boards. And you know,
we're talking notebooks or desktops?
These are desktops.
Okay.
And you know, when you feel the system boots up, the fans are spinning. The board itself, you hear no beeps, but you can tell the drive is spinning. Well, the drive spins because it's hooked up to the power supply. But yet you don't get any video out of it. And, you know, there's certain things you check for, but lately I've been having a run of dead boards. Well, some people will say, well, on the HP boards, on the older HP systems, you probably, in most cases, would have, at that point, have to trash them. You could do some work, but in the older days, they used to use proprietary power supplies, which unless you bought, HP power supply, you were kind of screwed. And on some of their cases, they still have a certain proprietariness to them. But I found that, hold on, let me get this board here. I've been finding great success with this board. This is the ASRock G31. It's a socket 775 board and runs DDR2. So if they have older memory and you can adjust the speed on this motherboard to work with the board that's in there, that processor will generally work in this board. You may, in some cases, have to get a new cooling fan for your CPU. These boards sell for around $40 a Newegg, $49 at your local vendor. It's a board you can get for under $50. So if you need to repair an HP desktop, this is a good solution for you. There's a better solution from Asus that runs about $75 that runs DDR3 memory, which if your customer was willing to spend the money on DDR3 and wants to upgrade, I almost recommend going that route. But again, this has onboard video, onboard audio, and it's a nice replacement for that. But the other day, I've built a few of these, and the other day I went to put one together, and it would start to install and shut off whenever it accessed Windows 7. So I'm looking at it, I'm going, what the heck is the problem here? When I put the CPU in the board, I had the board out, I had it on the anti-static sheet, and I pressed down the cooling fan, got everything put together, put it all inside the board, hooked up the drives, hooked up everything. So I figured, okay, well, it's probably a bad DVD drive. When I bought a DVD drive, did the same thing. Would work for about 15, 20, 30 seconds and then shut down. So I thought, well, what is causing the problem here? Could it be memory, etc.? And then I remember the clerk I was talking to, and I was telling him about the issue with it. He said, well, we got to make sure, it's not overheating. And I thought, well, it can't overheat. I got the fan applied. So, of course, I went to touch the fan, and the damn thing had come loose. So all it was basically the fan, the CPU fan, had come loose, which is very dangerous because if the board doesn't shut off, you burn out the CPU.
Right.
So, and I checked the temperature reading, went all the way up to 177 degrees, where it's supposed to, a good average temperature for this type of board, 130, maybe even less than that. So, I was impressed by my stupidness of not rechecking that once I put the board in to make sure it hadn't come loose, and got it all put back together. So just one of those things you got to be careful with.
Check, and double check.
Yes, check, and double check. And if you have an HP that's dead, or even a Dell or a desktop, you don't have to go with the idea that your whole system is shot. Find, local manufacturer, a local computer guy, and get a decent price from him on what it would cost. Now, your best bet is to look online, go to staples.com or geeksquad.com, and see what they charge for it, and you can get an idea of what you're going to spend. Now, is the idea of spending $350 for a board replacement and an operating system reinstall, because a system would have to be reinstalled, and then you probably, in most cases, won't be able to use the backup that is a part of the hard drive because it has a footprint that's tied to that motherboard. So you have to hope that the shop knows what they're doing and can use your license key to reinstall the operating system. If it's Vista or Windows 7, and use your license key. If they don't, then you may run into other problems because they're not going to be able to reinstall it. You're not going to be able to do it yourself by using that F11 and getting into your BIOS that's on that partition on that hard drive that's in there. So that could cause you some problems.
Yeah. Wow.
So things to think about.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So you're talking a job like that should run about anywhere from $250, could be $250 to $350 for doing that kind of work. And that's, operating system reinstall, motherboard replacement, and then, the thing is it may only be a $49 part, but you got to pay for the part as well. And of course, there's generally a 20% markup that a shop's going to charge you. So just remember that. Well, if you can do it yourself, you can do it yourself. Just certain things you want to look at. Our forum's a great way to get answers to. You can stop by our forum at techtalkradio.com/forum. And if you're not a member and you want to be a member, just drop me an email. Let me know you want to be a member, and I'll add you as a member. Because we don't take registration on the website.
Right.
Means less work for me. Less work for me having to keep out the scammers and the spammers. Damn them. Although, our forum was a good place to see some things you're not supposed to see. I didn't want that.
Beginning. Yeah. At the beginning it was.
We stopped that. Yeah.
It's like, wow, I didn't know that was technology related.
Yeah. I logged in one day and I'm going, uh-oh.
Talk about a reboot.
Yeah.
Speaking of failing technology, off of FoxNews.com, headline, International Space Station bound supply ship explodes.
Whoa, when did this happen? Just now?
Crashes in Siberia. Well, here's the thing. The date on it is Wednesday.
These are unmanned though, right?
Yeah.
Well, it takes a little while to get the news out of the Siberia, I guess.
Yeah. Unmanned, let's see. Failed to reach planned orbit. Pieces fell in Siberia. Everything has been lost. It looks like I was just thumbing through the story here. There are, I think, 6 astronauts on the space station right now. Yeah, and they said the supplies currently are what they call fat. So they're not going to be needy for a while. But if now remember, Russia at this point, as far as I know, is the only way up now because we retired the shuttles, and we don't have any more rockets available currently. Right.
Right. So what do we do now? Hopefully they have enough food?
Well, if things get thin, we can always bring the boys back, but getting people back up there, And they had been talking, remember, there had been some discussion about using almost unmanned, almost automated rockets to get not only stuff, but even now at some point like personnel up there, so where the astronauts pretty much just sit back and enjoy the ride as opposed to, they'll still probably be monitoring things and stuff like that, but it's like, technology is to the point now we can put your grandmother on a ship and just send her on up. It'll be fine.
Wait, is it going to be the same thing as like it was in Tron? Tron that came out last year? Is it going to be the same kind of thing where basically, was it this year that came out? I can't remember. Where they just walk into a room and start taking the plastic covers off the equipment and start powering it up and then launch somebody into space? I mean, how's that going to be?
You know, I think that's what they were trying to hit to, and as well as the commercial entities that are getting into that. Where I guess right now it's commercial space tourism, where you go up and you maybe a couple hours, you're in weightlessness in space, and then you come back down. But there's also a story here which was on another website. Let me pull this on the way. I know they're creating the very first commercial spaceport in America. And actually it's called Spaceport America. I haven't really followed the story, but I just clicked on the link to take me there because I remember hearing about it during the week. Where I guess it's going to be, there's an artist rendering and it's a circle. And then I guess there's the landing strips, one big landing strip or whatever. So maybe they're going to go that route where, boarding now on gate 14, flight number 14 to space, and then it'll be back. And 15, you'll be ready to launch in about another 2 hours. One of those deals.
Wow.
Talking about suborbital missions is what you're talking about here.
Well, isn't that what Richard Branson was going to be doing? Isn't that his name, Richard Branson?
Yeah. I don't see his name on this. Oh, yeah, actually, he's involved in this.
Yeah.
It is Virgin Galactic.
Virgin Galactic, VG.
Yeah. Virgin Galactic at Spaceport America.
See, you know what's so sad about that? It was always going to be Pan Am. If you think about 2001: A Space Odyssey, what was it that went into space was Pan Am. So now we get Pan Am as a TV show and Richard Branson doing his thing in space. I like that.
Now I'm looking at something. It's almost this. I was looking at some artist renderings, but I believe this picture I'm looking at now almost looks like a picture of actual construction. Today, Spaceport America is a construction. It is. It is. So they've got a shot of it being under construction. Yeah.
Wow.
Spaceport America started offering tours in May 2011. Oh, I didn't know it had gone this far.
So they're giving tours of the spaceport itself.
Yeah. I mean, they're still building it, but they're still building it out.
I would love it.
Like an Astrodome.
I would love it if they built it in Nebraska and built it like they did in Star Trek, the last movie, where they're actually building the spaceship down on Earth. Isn't that what they were doing? Weren't they building it on Earth and then they go up into space and they finish it? I don't know how they do it.
Yes, I was always under the impression that you build it in space dock.
What are we doing? We're talking about Star Trek like it really exists.
Don't tell me that, because next we'll get into a discussion about the Tooth Fairy, and I don't want to hear that either. Because I'm getting older, and eventually, I'm looking for cash.
Yeah.
I can dream.
Yes, we all can. All right. What else we got? I think that's about it, really. We talked on the tech side of things there. Hopefully I'll get a chance to reinstall. I'm going to reinstall Windows 7 on this computer because we had so many problems. But look, we've got through it. I reinstalled the drivers, and we got through it okay. So that's a good thing.
We persevere.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week, we'll have more stuff. Again, links. You come up with any links, feel free to send them over to TechtalkRadio.com. If you would like to write for our blog, just let me know. We'll get you all set up on that as well. And then I think Raven did some articles in there on Disney, so you want to check that. And I think Slick, you have a couple of things in there. You haven't updated the blog in a while, but I know you've been busy.
Yeah, I got some things that are like ready to post, but I just haven't had a chance to sit down and post. Because what I was been afraid of is getting in the middle of it and getting interrupted, and I got half a post up there, and I have to start all over.
Yeah. Well, you know what you can do, and I believe you could do this. I need to learn how to do it. That you can hit save but not publish, so you can come back to it. So you put it up as a draft, which works out kind of nice, but it's kind of cool. Yeah. So we'll have some other cool things as well. All right. Well, you all have yourselves a great week. I want to thank everybody for stopping by today. Had some great people pop in. Let's see. We had Gandalf, Kenna. Thank you for coming back, Kenna. Lana D. Good to see Lana again in the room. Also Raven and CC Mike, of course, a moderator and supplier of our chat room there at TechtalkRadio.com/live. Any other things going on for you this week, Slick?
No, just watching. I guess this afternoon is when Hurricane Irene is really gonna hit. I guess the East Coast, upper East Coast, Northeast Coast, and we'll see how things go. I mean, they seem to have planned through. And there was one article, real quick, that was on Patch.com,
right?
Which I guess is that news website from AOL. And they were talking about the headline, how to use your cell phone during Hurricane Irene. And nothing really, enlightening came out of it. It's just that, try to make sure you got spare batteries and the phone is charged up. I guess they're at the point now to where they're saying the view is that maybe cell phones are much more reliable in emergency situation than landlines, even though landlines have self-powered and cell phone towers can go out, services can go out. Maybe you should have a combination of both, but plan on, just like you plan for your landline, plan for your cell phone. It's something to consider. I always say, which I found laying around here, which I've kept handy, get you one of them emergency radios with the crank on the side, baby. Get one of those. It's good to have around the house because it has the light. Where's the light? The light's here, and then you get the radio because you just never know, and they're not expensive enough. It's worth throw one up in a cabinet somewhere. Keep it handy.
I think what we saw with the earthquake and cell phones were overrun, and people apparently weren't able to make calls.
Anyway, yeah.
And
but were you going to go with this?
Well, I was just saying that's kind of a sad thing about the cell phone, and how we look at that as just this device that can do all. But if the towers go down, doesn't matter if it's on battery or not. You're not getting through unless you're on a satellite phone.
And there's one thing that did pop up that I guess a lot of people don't really realize until they find out by accident. In emergency situations, use it with the cell phone services in general. What you're generally going to find is this. Voice service may not be available, but data text services just might be.
Right. So if you have to get a message out, try texting as well. Just say, hey, we're safe. We're okay.
Yeah. Because just because voice service is down doesn't mean the other services don't work.
We have normally, and being that I came from California, you have a friend that you can call because sometimes your local calls when we were in California would not work. So rather than calling, Joe across the street to say, Joe, you okay? We actually call if we weren't texting back then, we would call a relative in another part of the state or another part of the country. We're okay. And everybody checks in with that relative if they're not affected. So, that's why they also recommend doing that and having maybe kind of a plan to do in case of that.
That's a good idea, Ollie.
Yeah. There you go. I always like to pass them along. All right. You have yourselves a wonderful week from Tech Talk Radio. We'll be back next week. We'll see if Broadway will be filling the right square and Justin will be filling the left square. If not, it'll be me and Slick.
We can fill squares, trust me.
Absolutely. I don't know what that means, but that sounds all right. Have yourself a wonderful week. Thanks for checking in from Tech Talk Radio. See you, Slick.
Bye.